This is what's so important about men beyond all this. Men, you got to lead. This is what it says in Numbers 14:18. I'm not going to read it. I'm just going to kind of tell you what I think it says. You ready? I am God, and I'm rich in mercy, and I forgive sins. But, ready? I will in no way overlook the guilty. And I visit the iniquities of the fathers unto the children, to the third and fourth generation. Does that make sense to you? In other words, first of all, how can you not be guilty? Well, you have to choose to be born again through Jesus Christ. That's the only way out of this thing. You can't be good enough, because the Bible condemns all men under sin. Adam sinned, and we all came from his blood. It's in you. If you didn't ever do it yourself, it's still in you. Did you know that? Now, we've all done it too. As soon as we became aware of what wrong was, we did it. So not only was it in us through Adam, but we also did it. We practiced it, right? Amen? But just as we inherited this thing from Adam, if we choose, by hearing the truth, to step out of Adam into Christ, we can inherit righteousness. Because he lived a life without sin, but he died with our sin on him. We transferred the sin onto him, and God transferred his righteousness onto us. Right? It's real simple. Some people say, well, how could one man do that? Well, one man brought sin to everybody. So doesn't it make sense one man could bring redemption to everybody? That's the only plan that would ever work. All of you know in your heart you're not good enough. And this way you don't have to be. Really, salvation is not connected to sin. Sin is dealt with through salvation. And then as you get filled more and more with God, you will sin less. Until one day, God raises you from the ground in a body that can't sin. And then he's really taking care of the sin problem, right? But if you want to know how that looks, look at Romans 8 through about verse 10, 1 through 10. And it tells you that right now your body, he's condemned sin in the flesh. You hadn't quit sinning yet, but your building that you sin in has a sign on it say condemned, will be done away with on the day of resurrection. Just like any other building. It's not gone yet, but it's already condemned. See, God did that, so he's okay with it. That's how you can testify to Christ and not be perfect at the same time. See, the devil wants to fool you. He won't say, well, if you ain't perfect, you can't say anything for God. That's not true. The Bible clearly says your body's condemned, but it's still working for God. Amen. Funny what knowledge will do, isn't it? It'll just set you free from all his lies so you can live life in the truth. Amen.